get it, you know I be on the way.
It's Wednesday night. Time for a hump day fight. 40 of iRacing's best in a carbon fiber slugfest. Esport aces, mechanical maniacs, over-the-wall weekend warriors, hometown track heroes, and even boys from the big leagues. Oh, we've got characters, all right. Strapped in the sim rig, poised to strike. We're set to battle it out each and every lap. So grab your popcorn. This is Thunderclap.
Ain't nowhere to hide. You ain't gotta see me come and keep me on your mind. Cause I be on the way. Yeah. You know I be on the way. Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on the way.
Contact forward for the lead.
He blocks checker flag, change seat right 5.025 seconds.
It is going to be Ryan Truex.
I'm far ahead and gotta run last. But we ain't letting up, we never done that. Ain't nowhere to hide. You ain't gotta see me come and keep me on your mind. Cause I be on the way. Yeah.
They are wrecking just like that. Oh, a humongous impact.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on the way. Yeah. I'm on the way. On the way. I'm on the way.
Over the years, history has made a lot of different notes when it comes to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Champions crowned at this facility. Some of the best races in stock car racing history taking place at Atlanta. Tonight, when it comes to the Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated, they look to see if they get their best opportunities put forward to throw it back tonight. It's the car tomorrow, and this is the PBS Incorporated Throwback Race here on Grid Vision. Good evening, everyone. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside me is Brian Britt, Austin Derbyshire in the production suite as we get all set to go racing with the car of tomorrow. Tonight, Atlanta Motor Speedway on the docket. Not going to be an easy racetrack, and as many people know, this racetrack brings out the difficulties of this particular car set. After all, it's hard to drive here.
Yeah, it definitely is, Justin. I'm glad to be here, though, for sure. This is going to be a first for me. Never really called a race with this car tomorrow. And I know it's capable of hitting very, very high speeds, but quite a combination that we have here. Atlanta Motor Speedway, of course, the 2008 Scan. I mean, these guys are going to have a tough time. I mean, of course, there is quite a bit of downforce, but we kind of even heard it in the competition meeting before the race. They said that these cars are not really sucked down to the pavement here. So I think it's going to be really a handful. Guys are going to have a tough time really keeping these cars going in a straight line.
Emilio was a major talking point when it comes to this area, especially Hampton, Georgia. The track temperature is going to be something to keep an eye on. Something to keep an eye on as well, the championship standings. Sean Bounty, despite having one less race than Ryan Truex, is the current points leader by 7 points in the standings. Josh Ball, John Freeman, and Roger Debo amongst the top 5. The difference amongst them, 102 points. Of note, Ryan Truex indicated before tonight's race that there was the potential of him not taking tonight's green. We'll see if that indeed becomes the case once we get rolling here tonight. Keep in mind, there are several appeals in regards to the last time out still involving the North Wilkesboro finish, so that is something to keep an eye on potentially as well in the future. But so far, so tight amongst your top 5 of the point standings.
Yeah, definitely very tight for sure. And these guys have just had great race after great race. I mean, you look at Sean Bounty, he's the fastest in practice right now. He has been very, very strong in the points as well. And, of course, the track temp, we kind of mentioned that. It's 122 degrees trackside at the moment. We mentioned how hard it is going to be to actually run this race car on this racetrack. And that's only going to make things worse, Justin. That's hotter than I think what these guys probably expected.
Well, after all, it is a very hot city to race around in and a hot racetrack to battle it out at. But when it comes to the COT machine, keep in mind a much different driving set compared to today's next-gen machine, some can argue. Because in turn, as drivers noted for the drivers' meeting and discussed in length, the drivers are on top of the track per se, not planted into it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And of course, these cars seem to do not have what would be called a restrictor plate, so they're capable of hitting really, really high speeds. But that's not really going to be what you want at a track like this, considering it is very worn. There's bumps on the bottom of the racetrack. I mean, I know last night we even had the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series race at this same very track, and those guys were they had a lot of tough times with that truck, and I expect it's going to be probably turned up to 11 in the car tomorrow here. I mean, of course, those bumps, when you get onto the gas pedal, it's going to be very easy to spin these cars around, and I expect we're probably going to see a lot of problems for sure, but at least these guys do have stages to kind of get acclimated to the racing a little bit here, just to kind of get an idea on what the car is going to handle. Of course, these stages are 15 and 35, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like we have the grid set, Justin.
Yes, indeed, the drivers just about all set to go for tonight's action. Let's take a look at how they will start here for tonight's festivities. When it comes to the season, it's been competitive for many of our drivers. James Seawright amongst those looking to keep things up. Jordan Jurassic amongst the front row. You have Sean Bounty amongst the top 3 positions as well to keep an eye on. Also amongst those up towards the front tonight, you have Mark McQuarrie amongst that inside grouping. Keep an eye as well, though, as half the drivers in the top 10, Brian, amongst those with charters.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. A lot of them are, for sure. Of course, starting in 11th is the 12th of McConey, 12th, 38 of Debo, 13th, J.D. Woodward, 14th, the 93 of Aaron, 15th, Justin Clapper, the 63, 16th, and I do believe, I think he's going to get awarded the 05, the best paint scheme here in the throwback, Noah Rainwater, 17th, the 25 of Robert Condon, 18th, the 26th of Greg Vial, 19th, Montgomery in the 9, and of course, rounding out the top 20 is the 83 of Sherritt.
Also amongst those up towards that mid to back pack grouping, looking to try battles with the pack. For example, Tomlinson, keep an eye on, has showed some flashes of speed throughout the season. Curly amongst those in the top 24 for the starting spots. TJ Lee just on the cusp of that top 20. You have Matt Condon, as mentioned, towards that back grouping as well. Of note, though, a couple big hitters towards the back, in particular, John Freeman. Starting shotgun on the field, that's somebody to keep an eye on with the speed Freeman's had in especially the Next Gen and the Xfinity Series cars this season. A large field of drivers today, 30-plus competitors, just about all set to go from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Just about all set to go racing for tonight's festivities. Once again, tonight's race brought to you by PBS Incorporated. When it comes to employee benefits and energy management, Professional Business Solutions provides unparalleled solutions and savings. Family owned and operated since 1982, PBS's philosophy has been to develop long-term relationships, not short-term sales. As an employer, you can do you best. We'll take care of the rest. Visit pbsnj.com for more info and let Professional Business Solutions put the green back into your bottom line. Speaking of the green, we're just about all set to start off stage 1, 15 laps the first stage to lap 35 for the second stage. One more pace lap before we get things rolling. Your keys to victory tonight when it comes to this racetrack, because already this driver has won best paint scheme.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to actually look at that, and you actually told me before we went live here a little bit more about that scheme. Is it Davey Allison? Is that what you said?
Yes, indeed. In fact, it was mentioned about throwing back to his co-crew chief more so when he discussed why he chose this paint scheme.
Definitely very interesting. Congratulations on him for getting that. Hopefully he does well in the race as well and keeps that paint scheme looking good. Keys to victory here. I think it's going to be all about throttle control. These cars are so very easy to spin out, and I think you're just going to want to be as gentle as you possibly can. And you're also going to want to be patient with other drivers as well, just considering how different these cars are. I think that you're going to want to, especially in these first couple stages, to just watch the other guys around you and make sure you don't sail it in too hard when someone else is a little bit more cautious than you.
So just about all set to get things underway for tonight's action. Thundercloud iRacing Series competition presented by TLC Incorporated. So we get set to see how, right along with Jurassic, control things up at the point. Right, the Munsters in the top grouping. Jurassic throwing back to Jeff Gordon on the inside line. All set for the TLC start zone. Green flag is up on the stand. We're underway from Atlanta.
And look at that, already we're seeing wiggling. I saw the 67 of Matt Cherry getting sideways on the start. And these guys are on new tires. Usually you don't see wheel spin on new tires, but these cars are monsters. They have a lot of horsepower.
See right in the Kyle Busch paint scheme, looking to lead them down the back straight away. Already the top runner single file, but 2 and 3 wide of the heart of the pack. Drivers noted to keep an eye on how they drive that outside groove tonight. Already several going to the outside out of 4.
Yeah, I've heard that outside groove is fairly strong. You're going to be able to get a lot more momentum up there. I'm watching Roger Diebold right now in 9th, trying to see if he can't possibly get 8th away, I do believe, from Leahy in the 34. They're side by side a little bit deeper in the pack as well. Looks like the bottom line just does not work as well. I think that top line is going to be the place to watch.
It's expected to potentially shift to the bottom later in the run, but when it comes to this track and this car type, multiple groove racing is the expectation, keep in mind. Munsters looking to move ahead. That's the 67 machine. Looking to throw back to Jimmy Johnson tonight. Matt Cherry trying to find his way around some of the traffic, including some of those looking to try and hold that middle groove. This is for 3rd and 4th.
Feels like we're just going right back in a time machine watching these race cars out on this racetrack. The 3 cars that we usually race in the Thunderclap season are the NASCAR truck, the Xfinity, and the Next Gen. None of those cars really behave any way like these cars do. James Seawright, though, is starting to pull away over a half a second now on the rest of the field. But one thing that is similar to the other race cars that this car also has is the reliance on clean air. And I think that's why Seawright is doing so well right now.
But it also takes a lot of driver skill and a lot of control when it comes to throttle, but also brake management because of that more need to be able to, well, hit the brakes, but also not just sail it through the corners, to be able to make sure you manage the tires long term. Drivers had multiple practice sessions for this reason, in part, to get this car comfortable for the race.
Yeah, 100%. I would not be shocked at all to see these guys actually using the brake for sure. Not ever really going full throttle except for when you're probably in the middle of the straightaway. I think that these cars are so spin happy. I'm seeing a lot of battling though further back. A little bit of a touch on the wall there. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was J.D. Woodward.
One of the youngsters in the field looking to settle things down as we see one of the Furniture Row Racing throwbacks in the 78 looking to charge ahead in Woodward. And you can see just how close some of these drivers are getting towards the walls to try and build that momentum. Just that extra speed boost, keep in mind. Or so to speak, that run off the corner you can pick up because of that momentum on exit.
Yeah, 100%. And one thing that I'm really curious about that we haven't seen in this race car is really how the damage model plays. Of course, this car has not been updated in quite a long time, so I'm not sure what happens when you hit the wall. I mean, does it really affect the aero?
In theory, still the old damage model in this regard, so you still pick up a significant bit of damage from the wall. Drivers were actually told earlier in the drivers' meeting, if you end up hitting the wall, stay in the wall and take the time sacrifice, because with how hard the drivers indicated and noted in practice, you could hook the car down in front of the field and spin it back out if you try and tug it out of the wall.
And we're definitely seeing a big battle here from Diebold. It looks like he tried to go underneath and possibly get by, I do believe, the 88 of McCrary, but not quite able to get there. Actually ended up, he did get by Leahy, though. Leahy up at the top of the track. So Diebold is one of the big movers here. He was in 8th, now up to 7th. Getting a good run up to McCrary now. Looks like he's going to try to send it into 3 and 4 on the bottom, and he does. Slide job. Let's see if he makes it and gets clear. You see McCrary starting to get the run back on the high side.
McCrary not giving up easily, but a slide on by. Roger Diebold able to make the pass. This is a fixed race, keep in mind, for tonight. Diebold was one of those who, when they originally made this an open session by accident, who said, I want this to be open. Keep in mind, he's a longtime pit crew member in the NASCAR scene and also a pool technician.
Well, it would have benefited him to be able to take care of that. Oh, we almost had some contact a little bit further back. I'm watching the 93 and the 78 at J.D. Woodward. Looks like we're also having some problems there from Noah Rainwater having to touch the apron.
Contact as a result for that run to turn 3. Rainwater appears went to the apron in the midst of the aftermath. Already, things getting bottled up as a result.
Yeah, we're watching back to see exactly what happened here. It looks like Rainwater, of course, trying to still keep it together. And, of course, these guys probably ready for that caution. I think tire wear is significant. I mean, look at the fall-off we're already seeing. A second already, and it's only been 11 laps.
This is a car that is known for a lot of fall-off when it comes to how it's built. Let's take a look at how things structure, though, when it comes to the incident. I believe this is just after it, in fact, with Rainwater already on the apron in 3 and 4. It was the cars just ahead that caused him to have to go to the apron in the first place.
Went a little bit further back here, so we should be able to see exactly what happened here. See the car right in front of him. I think that's what forces him. You see a lot of... Oh, we're back live. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is indeed live action. The 93 again amongst those dealing with the significant damage as a result of the contact there. And already can see just how bad that aero condition is. This is Thomas Aaron who's trying to hold on with the flared out right front tire because of that hit.
Yeah, you can definitely see significant damage. I mean, it almost making the tire stick out. And I'm wondering what would happen if he hit the wall again with that tire.
Some have described the aerodynamics of these cars, to put it politely, like bricks. And when you smash parts of the brick apart, you can see what happens. Meanwhile, James Seawright still holding on to the point, although barely with how loose the car's getting.
Yeah, he is barely able to hold on right now. Last time by, he was about a tenth slower than Jurassic, who's right behind him. Of course, Jurassic, the closer he gets to Seawright, the less that car is handling well for him as well, which is actually putting him under fire possibly from Sean Boundy. So, yeah, these guys are really struggling right now. It's almost like they're driving on ice right now.
Like I said, Atlanta known for being hard to drive, and that's not just me saying that. They've literally hosted events here recently named Hard to Drive, insert race distance for a reason. Coming up to the white flag of the stage, getting ready to take the one to go in this stage. See how things close out here, presented by RL Productions. Still trying to hold on, Seawright, Jurassic, Boundy, the top three. Cherry with a great run in fourth.
Yeah, definitely a great run from Cherry. He's been running some really good laps. I'll tell you what, looking at Reed Foley, he's been one of the ones that has surprised me this season. I mean, that 15 country music artist lives in Nashville, I do believe. Last time by, he was the fastest car on the racetrack, and he's in ninth. So look to see what that 15 does. It seems like no matter what car he gets in, seems like he's got a lot of talent behind the wheel.
Green and white checkered waving this time. James Seawright wins the first stage of tonight's throwback event. Jurassic, Bounty, Cherry, Famosa, the top five. D-Bold, Lawn in the top six. McQuarrie, Garrett, Foley up to ninth, and McConey, the top 10 at the end of the stage. Now, it's important to mention that tire sets, there were 5 total in the pits tonight, but a 100% fuel limit, which is a major, major key thing to consider here, because that makes the third stage in turn, 100 laps about, a potential one-stop.
I don't know. I think it'll be more than that, just considering I think these guys are going to use every set of tires they have. I mean, you saw how much they were struggling there just on that 15-lap run. I definitely expect these guys are probably every chance they get, they're going to be heading down pit road. And I think that the more they run on these tires, the more likely cautions could come out based on guys just self-spinning.
Drivers now looking to make their way towards pit lane in the next few moments, currently at the end of stage 1. You're watching the PBS Incorporated Throwback Race live on Grid Vision from iRacing's virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway from Hampton, Georgia. We'll be back in just a few moments.
SRI Performance. With over 400 product lines representing the top manufacturers in motorsports, we are your one-stop shop for everything racing. 3 of our brick-and-mortar stores are located in North Carolina, and our newest facility in Brownsburg, Indiana. And 4 trackside mobile stores, you can find us spread out throughout the nation. With industry-leading knowledge, we are only a phone call away to visit our customer service experts. And don't forget, we have the world's largest inventory of used race parts. SRI Performance, and stock car steel and aluminum for everything racing.
Hey, Bob Carr here at TLC. Take a look at some of the specials we're running at TLC right now. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Storms are in the forecast, so if you have a problem with water standing in your yard, in your basement, now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. We'll be glad to provide you with a free, no-obligation drainage proposal for your property. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342 or hit the link below. We'll respond back to your email, set you up for a free, no-obligation quote for your drainage needs. Let's solve that once and for all. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Now's the perfect time to have your landscape lighting system tuned up for the upcoming summer months. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. And let's get you some light out there. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's take it down to the booth and get updated on what's going on.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway as we get all set for the second stage of tonight's action. Roger Diebold, Greg McConey, Noah Rainwater, all electing to stay out after a 15-lap green flag run. That's a choice for this potential opportunity for some to have to dodge the restart zone folly here.
Yeah, we definitely saw some wheel spin already on that first restart, but here we go.
Green, 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 off and away. McConey, a bit of tire spin. Very bad tire spin for Rainwater. No stack up outside of that, though. Already up towards the middle. Seawright trying to take to the bottom, up to second.
Yeah, Boundy definitely, I think, benefited from that restart fairly well. He is now side by side with McConey, and he should. Oh, big problems in the middle of the pack. I do believe Matt Garrett around. First, someone's flipping there. That is Noah Rainwater.
Noah Rainwater getting splashed down after being sent up to the sky for our first Eagleswood Creations caution flag for cause. Well, you could see that coming up until Rainwater became a raindrop from the sky.
Yeah, he definitely did. And unfortunately, that was huge right there. And I think it all started with him as well, and then a huge hit. Oh, secondary hit that sent him up into the sky there. Wow. A lot of damage on some race cars out there. Would not be surprised to see that to be the end of some days. We're going to take a cockpit camera here from Raindrop as he drops from the sky, as you mentioned.
Oh, and he does a few backflips and just about sticks the landing, too. Once again, old damage model on this car. That was Nick Tomlinson who sent him flying.
He definitely got a very good view of the sky, that's for sure. Man, that was a big accident there. And I think Rainwater was one of the ones that stayed out, so I'm wondering if maybe that had something to do with it.
We just talked about it. There is a massive, massive risk of being the caution if you stay out. And already, McConey back to fifth. Diebold still at second as a positive, but Rainwater indeed amongst the 5-10 car pileup after the restart there. Now keep in mind, part of the reason the drivers may have gone that route is the tire set, but again, there's a saying. It's been talked about over the years, especially from this era and from the Gen 6 era too. If you get a caution after 10 laps, normally you just take the tires.
Yeah, especially this track. I mean, the surface is so old, it's almost like driving on a cheese grater. And I'm surprised that, that we didn't see Diebold or McConey get involved in that as well. I mean, they actually had relatively tame restarts, surprisingly. But of course, I do believe James Seawright has gotten back to the lead. I'm wondering if these guys are going to come down. Looks like we got a EOL penalty for Matt Cherry as well.
Now that one's going to be a bit intriguing. Is that possibly involving the rainwater stack up? Remember, the difference between old and fresh tires speed-wise was already 1 second in green flag laps. You can just understand how much that checkup effect can be in terms of the miles per hour in the corner, and especially down the straightaway when you don't have that same fire-off.
This is definitely going to be interesting to see how Diebold fares here, considering he is still on the old tires. Of course, this caution is going to shorten this stage up by quite a bit. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to lap 35 to 36. So this will give some of these other guys a chance to possibly save their tires a little bit. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but I mean, at least the guys that did that 15-lap run in the stage one, they were struggling so badly at the end of that stage, so they won't struggle quite as much here, I don't believe.
Drivers getting themselves situated for the TLC restart zone. TLC Incorporated is premier service provider for lawn sprinklers, landscape lighting, drainage services, and garage makeovers. 40 years of experience. For more information, call 888-PIC-TLC for more information. As we get ourselves situated for the restart coming up, already getting ready to double them up, in fact. Look to see how this plays out. About 11 laps to decide the stage. How do you play this now if you were amongst those on that inside line as Seawright chooses the top?
Well, that's the thing, too, is if I'm not mistaken, yeah, we see, of course, Diebold is on the bottom leading that bottom line, so that is going to be a scary predicament for Sean Boundy. And we do know as well that these guys do have a rule about switching lanes, I do believe, on the start. So Boundy is kind of going to be locked down behind Diebold.
It was talked about a little bit after North Wilkesboro's race where they didn't have a defined restart zone, that they weren't expecting that to be a possibility or a factor the rest of the season, since most of the other tracks have well-distinguished restart boxes. Now, keep in mind, tire spin also was a major factor at that track, could still be a factor for this restart.
Oh, I definitely think it will be.
Just very curious how this is about to play out for these respective drivers here. Looking to get themselves all ready to go to wheel around their machines. Once again, car tomorrow. Looking to see how they do tonight. Into the restart zone. Green flag is out. Back underway. Tire spin inside line. Seawright is away.
Yeah, great restart there for James Seawright. You see exactly why he chose that top side, and Diebold trying to hold on, but he is losing position after position. And then look at it, already starting to get challenged, I do believe, by Scott Formosa here. A lot of side-by-side here in the mid-pack. And look at that, you could tell on the inner entrance of the corner, Diebold just does not have the grip.
Yeah, Diebold already getting shuffled to the edge of the top five, in fact, back to the fifth position. Down to the final 10 laps of the stage. Greg McCarty in the same situation, trying to let drivers go underneath a little bit. Once those looking to make their way forward, how about a little throwback to Talladega Nights? Justin Clapper deciding, you know what? It's about me. In fact, it's MPL, his respective team on the car instead of the me tonight.
I love that. Definitely great to see that for sure. Looks like he got a little bit loose off of 4 there. So now side by side with McConaughey. McConaughey's actually doing okay right now, which is surprising. So maybe this decision wasn't as bad as we kind of figured, but I don't know though. He's getting really caught by that DuPont Montgomery machine.
These 3,400-pound machines trying to work their way 3 wide down the back. A little bit of contact to the wall. And some bobbling. A big save out of the corner, but significant damage yet again to the front end of that 9 machine.
There is a lot of opportunity for a caution here. They are stacking up 3 wide, a hornet's nest of race cars. As we see, of course, Seawright has got about 0.8 of a second of a lead right now. He's just trying to get away from this nest.
Depot, the only one to stay inside the top 8 on the old tires so far, underneath Montgomery to make the pass up to 5th. This is still very impressive for Depot, despite the differences in this strap. Big speed though on the outside. Here comes Lee. Tom Lee trying to make the pass and does, and bringing Jurassic with him. Clapper out of the gas.
Yeah, keep in mind, Jurassic finished second in that first stage, so would not be, really surprised to see him work his way forward, and now he has entered the top 10. TJ Lee started this race, I do believe, in 21st. He's up in the top 10. Got to really pay a lot of respect to that driver in the 46, doing a great job.
A lot of help, though, trying to find the lanes. Diebold starting to really fall off, down to the final 5 laps or so in this respective stage. Foley-Mott still in the top 10. Keep in mind, Aaron, despite some of the issues early, still holding on despite the damage. There is Foley, in fact, throwing back to Michael Waltrip. The 2001 Daytona 500 is the paint scheme decision for Foley.
Yeah, definitely awesome to see all these throwbacks. I mean, it's just like we're walking back into a time machine. And Matt Garrett, who got involved in that big accident just a little bit ago at the start of stage 2, running a, I do believe, Dale Sr. Goodwrench paint scheme. You love to see that paint scheme out here. Not wrecked up, though.
Specifically the 1990s version, as several drivers decide to mow the grass. A lot of drivers really getting slippy in that grass as we see how things play out of the 78 on the outside. Woodward been very impressive since that win earlier on in the campaign with the survival crazy finish at Phoenix. Amongst those who is making that top line work, trying to make up spots after what happened earlier.
Yeah, I've been very impressed as well with the 9 of Montgomery in that, of course, Jeff Gordon paint scheme. He's up in 6th right now, and he's pulling away from the rest of the group. Love to see what I'm seeing here from him. He's running some really good laps. I mean, he's comparable with, I'd say, everybody that's in the top 5. The only person, or only 2 that have been faster than him really have been James Seawright and Boundy.
Still closing up the stage down to the final 3 laps. Jurassic amongst those, still trying to wheel around the damaged machinery. JWoww, the Air Force veteran, looking to try and find his way forward around Aaron, and Aaron still is in that same boat as what we just seen with Montgomery. He is amongst those having his best race of the season, despite what happened earlier when it comes to that stack up for Reed in the Mid-Pack Motorsports car.
Yeah, I think what's hurting Jurassic so much, too, is you see the damage. Oh, the 46 of TJ Lee up into the outside wall. Not a huge hit, but it was enough. And I think we're going to have 2 laps to go here in this stage.
Right now, TJ Lee trying to pick up some stage points. One of the first times this season as well for the 46 in that regard. Right now, Seawright, for reference, still holding on to about a 7/8 of a second advantage. McCrary amongst those making the way forward. Same for Ryan Truex amongst those top 5 positions in these late stages. Coming up to 1 to go in the stage this time by 1 to go, presented by RL Productions for stage 2. Seawright having one of his best races on a non-short track this season.
Yeah, he is definitely known for his short track prowess. Of course, was very quick a couple weeks ago at North Wilkesboro. Of course, we had a off week last week. Definitely enjoyed our time away, but so glad to be back here on a Wednesday watching these guys race. And Seawright definitely doing a fine job. And I think that why he's doing a fine job is it takes a lot of driver talent to be successful at short tracks, Justin. And I think this also requires that same level of talent. You know, these cars are it's hard to control them. They're more controlling you. Yellow flag is out, and that is stage 2.
Visual Creations caution flag waves for the end of stage 2. Seawright sweeps the first 2 stages. Boundy, McCrary, Famosa, Truex amongst the top 5. Foley, Montgomery, Aaron, Jurassic, and Lee, the top 10. That leaves us with about 100 laps to go. And now it gets interesting on how things play out here. So far, our only cautions coming out for stage finishes. We'll check in after the pit stops in turn. You're watching Grid Vision for tonight's coverage of Thunderclump iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated Action for the PBS Incorporated Throwback Race.
Eagleswood Creations, your one-stop shop for wood, acrylic, custom engravings such as signs, boards, earrings, and much, much more. You can follow them today on Facebook, Instagram, or you can check out their website, eagleswoodcreations.com.
Hey homeowners, you're going to drag your hose through the yard in 2023? There's a better way to water your lawn. TLC Incorporated has been installing custom and professional underground lawn sprinkler systems for over 38 years. Our team would be happy to come out to your property at your convenience and provide you with a free, no obligation quote for a new custom underground lawn sprinkler system for your home. No more dragging the hose. No more dry and dusty patches in your yard. Our smart lawn sprinkler systems will efficiently provide water to your lawn all season long with a healthy green grass from your front yard to your back. Click the blue Learn More button below and the team at TLC can start building the perfect lawn sprinkler system for your home right away. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's throw it back to the guys in the booth.
Welcome back to Thunderclap Action tonight, brought to you in part by RL Productions, a Baltimore-based national video marketing agency specializing in video marketing solutions and commercial advertising. RL Productions offers custom brand strategies tailored to your company or organization's unique goals with in-house attention to detail. RL Productions also offers complete international event solutions for your conference and convention needs with both on-ground and live-stream production capabilities. Visit rlproductioncrew.com to turn your expectations into real-life productions. Currently under caution, getting ready to start things out for Stage 3 with under 100 laps to go. Justin Prince, Brian Britt, Austin Derbyshire in the production suit for tonight. As McCrary up in the race lead after everything. And it gets really intriguing. Seawright, who's won the first two stages so far tonight, restarting in 5th position. How could this play out? It's going to be the big question, Brian.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see how this all works out. I know I saw some guys with some very interesting pit strategies. I know Aaron in the 93 spent 7 seconds in his box. Montgomery in the 9 spent 0.7, so only 0.7 of a second in his box. You see Matt Cherry, 5.7. There's some guys with some really interesting pit strategies here. I do believe we saw some guys just went down for a second time. But this is where it's really all going to get started when it comes to the real race, when it comes to strategy. And we talked a little bit during the commercial break about how Diebold and, of course, McConey, who didn't take tires under that one caution, of course, the end of the Stage 1 caution, I should say, they might actually come out well after this. If we have multiple cautions where the guys all come down pit road, they might have an extra set to play with, which could be the play of the race.
Depends though on how the cautions play out. Keep in mind, some drivers down to 3 sets, coupled based on the decision making, might have 3.5 to 4 here, with McCrary Formosa now 1 and 2. The rest of the drivers cycling: Aaron in 3rd, Seawright to 4th, Truex Bounty, Jurassic Foley, Cherry, Montgomery, your top 10. Quietly coming to the field of note, Greg Vile up inside the top 12 for this restart. We'll see how that machine plays out. Coming up to the TLC restart zone, looking to battle it out with under 100 laps to go. We're backing away from Atlanta.
Yeah, a little bit of a wiggle there as the gas pedal went down there for Scott Formosa. And it looks like McCrary has decided to start from the top, which seems like that's what everybody wants to do. The 18 is Seawright, though. They're going to take it to the middle. 3 wide. 3 wide right behind him as well as you see the 69 of Tyler Truex. Look at this. This is awesome. And look at the big run for, I do believe that is Foley in the 15.
Tyler Truex trying to go back-to-back in thunderclap, still looking to battle in midst of the traffic fully, now at the bottom. Famosa slides back up top with McCrary. Lots of traffic management at play, 2x2, several rows deep. Have to keep the eyes open.
I'm telling you, I don't think you can make moves like that in any other car but this one. I mean, that was crazy to see Tyler Truex and James Seawright go through the middle 3 wide like that, and they just were shot out of a cannon. Oh, problems, a little bit big wiggle there. 3 wide, I do believe that was the 83, or no, the 93 of Aaron. Did say that he was only down on pit road for 7 seconds. So I think that maybe his tires are not behaving in the way he probably would like.
Usually that side of the 2-tire call and turn, and this is not a comfortable car on 2 tires at Atlanta. Taking the long-term play. We'll see how that plays out long-term, though, as Lee makes the pass to the inside. Several others trying to make the charges 2x2. Of note, Diebold, amongst those on that strategy earlier, 17th. McConey, 15th. There they are in the battling, trying to pass around the Derek Hope throwback.
Tell you what, Seawright has gotten a pretty good lead right now. Of course, him and Tyler Truex have pulled away. You see, Truex is actually about a second now out in front of Foley, who has moved up to 3rd place. Watch out for Sean Bounty, though. I think he is going to possibly be working his way up to Foley here, closing in quite quickly. See Jurassic also battling, I do believe, with the 35 of Bounty. Jurassic actually just took that 4th spot away.
Jurassic doing well, despite the fact he's got a giant dent in that door, as well as damage to that front nose. Intern, how do you try to adapt, in your opinion, to this respective racetrack with the damage? Because he is the only one who's picked up that damage outside of maybe Montgomery to maintain it with the speed.
Yeah, I mean, it might even be somewhat helping him. I mean, maybe it's giving him some aero advantage somehow. I'm not sure, but it seems like he's definitely making it work. I do not know how he's managing to do that, but he definitely is. If you watch TJ Lee battling with Scott Formosa, of course, Formosa started on the front row. Oh, problems!
Oh,
McConey into Formosa.
Formosa up in the fence, no caution, we stay green. 2-car incident down the front straightaway. And Formosa significantly wounded as a result of that slam into the outside wall.
Yeah, Formosa started on the front row for that last restart, and unfortunately, he is now well outside of, I think, even the top 20 here.
Can kind of see that happening, though. Watch McConey coming down to the bottom, trying to make the pass.
McConey, I think, just got tight on the exit. Formosa, unfortunately, was in the wrong spot at the wrong time there. See, quite a gaggle of race cars a little bit further forward. The 67 of Matt Cherry, Greg Vile, Montgomery, and Clapper all right here on top of each other.
Playing the lines, though. Cherry, his best race by far of the season. Cherry, keep in mind, someone who's had some decent runs, but fallen back, a full-time member of MPI 5-star race car bodies. Looking to try and make sure no one passes the body of his car. Except one driver looking to make the pass is Greg Vile, who's on a mission.
Yeah, Vile was muscling that car around. I mean, he almost got up there into the 67, but really just had a really good car control there. See how sideways he was. This reminds me a lot of dirt racing, the way these cars handle this racetrack.
So far, so strong when it comes to Vile from the back of the field to the front. On the bright side for today, he's picked up a banner penalty in a majority of the races. It's now a 10-point penalty if you forget your race car banner. Doesn't have to worry about that tonight.
That's definitely good. That's a big penalty. I mean, 10 points, that's huge. You want to still be able to go for a championship.
Montgomery. Montgomery up into the wall again. He follows the instructions from race control up to the outside wall. Takes the time loss. No caution. We stay green as Montgomery getting very loose. A common thread up two.
Yeah, he falls all the way back now to 21st position. Might even lose another spot here. As you see, McCrary's right there behind him. So definitely a lot of guys having some big problems. I mean, Montgomery was one that was up in the top 10 not that long ago. Was really, really fast.
Still seeing how some of these battles are faring out around the mid-pack or so currently. And you can tell with some of the driving. that a lot of these drivers starting to overcook that right rear tire. This track having a slide, and 2 eye up hitting the bump, and 3 goes one more.
Now, of course, keep in mind we're in somewhat unknown territory. Both of the stages were around 15 laps. Now, these guys are now about 15-plus laps on their tires, so we're going to start to see guys struggle more than they ever have in this race. But James Seawright out to about a half a second. He was a second away, but now I think he's having problems.
He just hit the wall in 3 and 4. He, too, hits that bump on the outer groove in turn 3. And a lot of drivers on iRacing talk about that. With the way the track scanned with the 2008 Legacy version, there's a reason some drivers take the middle on the entry because of how intense that bump is around the grandstand.
Oh, more problems for him. He gets loose. This is going to cause him to slide up in front of Tyler Truex. Truex barely able to dodge him.
Tyler Truex up to the race lead from the back of the pack. The 69 looks to run away. All looking to dominate up at the point like Stroke a Race. Able to come up bases with Seawright getting massively loose again.
Yeah, Seawright is definitely struggling right now. Once he hit that wall, I think that's what's caused him to have major issues. Every time we've seen anybody have damage on that right front, it seems like it affects their handling quite a bit.
You can see, though, just with those motions in the steering wheel, Seawright was really hooking that car to the right. And to put it quite simply, you put a car that sharply to the right with your tires sliding and spinning and starting to get overcooked from that, you're likely going to go around and quickly into the outside wall like he did.
100%. Looking a little bit further back here, I'm looking at Matt Cherry. Dennis, the 81, having a really great day. But I'll tell you, look at McConey and Diebold. Those guys were on a little bit of an alternate strategy. They have worked their way into the top 10.
Slowly up from the back into the top 20 after the pit stop cycles. Both of them seeming to look like they're working together line-wise, I've noticed, all throughout the night. They've seemed in sync since that strategy decision for the both of them. Keep in mind, when it comes to McConey, one of the next level motorsports machines, Diebold amongst those who has showed good speed, when battling around those in respect to that respective team this season with his team members.
Yeah, definitely doing a great job. Looks like McConey, though, touched the apron. This is not a place that you want to touch that apron at all. So I think that Diebold's, it's just a matter of time before he decides he's going to try to make the pass here on McConey. They've been working well together, but I think Diebold's going to start to, yep, here he goes, try to go to the inside. And Matt Cherry has a hornet's nest behind him, all wanting to take that spot from him. A little bit of wiggle off of 4 from the 67.
Everyone wants the 8th position. Diebold at least up to 9th. And you mentioned the importance of making sure not caught up in the apron. Already seen, though, if you can stick it to the white line at least and find that grip on exit, it can help you in this case, like we're seeing with Diebold.
Yeah, you can get close to the white line and even touch it. You just don't want to go any further than that. And Atlanta's always been a track, in my opinion, that you don't really want to run that low anyway. There's bumps down there. And you see McConey getting really loose out of 4. This could put him under fire, I do believe, from Dennis, or should I say Freeman, and Matt Cherry. We haven't seen Freeman, really. He was one that you even talked about starting in the rear of the field, just now getting to really talk about that 5 machine. He's always strong when it comes to long runs, so I expect that 5 car to be strong here.
JCR Racing Machines, who's also showed good pace at short tracks. Speaking of trying to slip and slide around, Seawright continuing to demolish the right side of his race car and nearly spinning it every straightaway now.
Yeah, I bet Sean Boundy right now is probably, his heart rate's probably through the roof. He probably wants to get by that 18 as quickly as he possibly can, just considering Seawright has been struggling a lot. Even though he's been very dominant tonight, he's won stage 1 and 2. It looks like, I don't know if he's going to be able to, right himself for this final stage here. He's going to need some repairs.
Seawright had led just about all the laps early on, except for maybe a couple as a result of drivers staying out in stage 1. Bounty looking to try and change things up for the diamond line at least. You can already see it just with the slipping and sliding. He does not have that rear grip, but he's also seeming to struggle with that downforce level long run because of the fact he's already picked up so much damage on the right side that you have air going underneath the car.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely struggling. Boundy getting a little bit tight as well, trying to get by him, desperate. Tyler Truex, though, out to over a second now of a lead, but I am so impressed with Jurassic. The last couple laps, Jurassic has been faster than Tyler Truex as we still watch on as this battle is happening between Seawright and Boundy.
And you have to think the more they fight like this, the more Boundy in turn loses time. Seawright, don't blame him, though. It's still top 5. It's just not easy to make the pass right now because we're already on our longest run, but also it's not easy to pass in general once you get in a long run with the car tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, these cars are so aero sensitive, and these guys are struggling. And it looks like Boundy's going to see, he's like, I've been trying to pass him on the bottom. I'm going to try to see if I can't go high. But Greg Vile has now entered the top 5, getting by Boundy here. Oh.
And that's near contact again. Vile inside. We've had one
problems
car.
for Tyler Truex. He's going to lose the lead. Jurassic now up to the lead.
Let's take a look, quick replay. This car having problems here. Inside wall. This is Chase Leahy who slides it up the track just at that exact time you're talking about. The leader trying to avoid him. Loses the lead because he went from the bottom to the top, expecting Leahy to still be there.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be detrimental to the 69's race. You were watching there from Tyler Truex, him trying to avoid him. He disappeared, but unfortunately for him, he hit the wall before he had time to take the tow. And this has allowed Foley as well to catch up. So the top 3 all now within about a second of each other.
Once again, we stay green with that barely in that circumstance. What a recovery driver it's been from Jurassic after getting some contact from one of the incidents out to the outside wall, trying to hold on, but it's not going to be easy with how Tyler Truex has been. He's been picking up a lot of momentum as of late. Picked up his first win in about 7 months last time, and now has a chance for the lead with Jurassic in the wall, and Truex is pitting instead.
Truex decides to take a green flag stop. This is very interesting. Jurassic, though, I think almost clean air seems to be bad in a lot of ways because every time these guys get into the lead, it seems like they really struggle to keep the car down from hitting into the wall. Interesting decision, though, for Tyler Truex to go ahead and bring it down pit road. I think, problems there for Foley. He's going to slide to a stop, able to save it.
Reed Foley fighting the car, and everybody starting to reach the limits, and now becomes the question, are drivers at risk of blowing a tire now? Because we're already only 30 laps into the run, but some of these drivers are acting like they don't even want to go past the 30, let alone up to 50 to be able to split this run in half.
Yeah, it definitely seems like these guys might be having issues like that. I mean, it is wholly possible that we could end up having a blown tire for sure. I would not be shocked in the slightest. That really calls into question, these guys, if they have to pit every 30 laps, and we still have a lot of racing left to go, Justin, I mean, I think they're going to use every single tire set that they have in the bank, and I think that really makes the decision to do what Diebold and McConey did that much more worthwhile as we see more green flag pit stops here.
2 stoppers in terms of this final stage continue. Dennis amongst those leading them down this time by Brandon Schumann, one of the crew members when it comes to the 52 truck in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action, bring Thomas Aaron with them as well.
I mean, just take a look at the fall off, the tire wear we're seeing even from our leader, Jurassic, 34.075. His fastest lap was a 31.906. That is over 2 seconds of fall off. That is almost unheard of at a track like Atlanta.
And this brings back into the question, and this is a conversation we haven't really had at iRacing that too often since the days of the Gen 6 with the old tire model. Will the 2-stop be the stronger on the Delta compared to the 1-stop? Keep in mind, when it comes to the pit stop time, it's about 40-50 seconds in the lane. But you just mentioned that incredibly important number, that 3 seconds a lap. If that continues at the pace, it might actually be quicker to do the 2 for some of the drivers. Jurassic, it appears, amongst those preferring the 1-stop, though, because that's been the normal trend these days.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this all plays out. I mean, and of course, you see Jurassic starting to come up on lap traffic as well. So there's a whole lot of variables right now. As you see, of course, the 69 of Tyler Truex, he did go down pit road, and he just looks remarkably faster. I think Bounty's deciding to come down pit road right now. Nope, staying out. He looked like he was slowing down.
As we're making our way forward here, already quickly up to about lap 70 of tonight's action, and with John Freeman entering the pit lane, I'd like to remind you tonight's action brought to you in part by Eagleswood Creations, your one-stop shop for your laser engraving needs, from wood to acrylic, custom signs, earrings, keychains, coasters, and much, much more. Located in West Creek, New Jersey, but shipping nationwide, items can be purchased and custom-made via Etsy or through the website, eagleswoodcreations.com. Follow them today on Etsy, Facebook, and at Eagleswood Creations on Instagram. Right now, Jurassic looking to have a Snapchat-worthy battle up at the front. Oh, well, McConey comes on in. Jurassic continuing to stretch this run. And remember, usually the equalization point about 5 laps long run. The more Jurassic stays out, the more time he sacrifices in terms of short term, but will have the fastest car, long term or not, in the wall. And now he says, okay, I'm pitting.
Yeah, that kind of forced him to pit there. I don't think he wanted to come down pit road, but I think the wall kind of forced him to. Sean Bounty's also going to bring it down as well. Now, this does not fit a one-stop strategy. I don't think that's possible.
No. This is very tight if you even try that at this point. Remember, the estimated window for these cars around 55, 60 laps or so here today at Atlanta, give or take a few. It might be borderline. But Roger Diebold, who has not utilized too many sets, he has some of the most, one of the higher mounts in the race tonight, and tire sets remaining, just to like that up to the race lead.
Yeah, and he's been one that we've even talked about it before. We've kind of dubbed him king of the long run, and I think he's showing that right now. If he could just keep that car underneath him, I think he's already been trying to save tires already. So we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. Of course, he possibly could go for that one-stop strategy. We'll have to wait and see. You can tell he's being very reserved with the way he's driving the race car. Now he's coming down now. Here he comes.
And that puts C right back into the race lead, but almost feel like this is starting to become forced. Look at how many cars are behind them who have already pit. Of note, as you see more peel in, such as Justin Clapper, put a highlight next to Tyler Truex, because it was touched upon by Tyler Truex. He was putting a star next to this race. A former driver competing in the ladder for eNASCAR Pro Action in the early days. We're talking about the early 2010s when this car was utilized in the real world. Tyler Truex, in turn, one of the highest up in terms of experience in this field with this car since, well, he was someone who ran this car as a pro as a very young driver back then.
Yeah, that's definitely something to really highlight him. He is struggling, though. I mean, he got into the wall just now again, and that right side can only take so much of a beating, Justin.
Well, just about everybody has beat up the right side of the race cars, but he's been one of the few who's been able to utilize the speed from his experiences. See right, though, it does not look like a fun time right now. He, along with Woodward, the only two really who have not pit.
Yeah, he has been eaten up by the guys that are on the newer tires. Of course, at the moment, I do believe 12 drivers on the lead lap. We just saw Greg McConey actually get his lap back. So Seawright, I mean, look at Seawright's lap times. 35-second lap. Oh, my goodness. He's struggling. And look at Woodward. He's in a hornet's nest right now of guys on newer tires. I think he might be coming down here very shortly.
That almost looked like hand out of the window. Yes, indeed it is, with how low he was riding down the back straightaway. Universal sign from Sim Racing, I'm pitting. What that leaves Seawright the only driver yet to pit. And now it gets intriguing. Should be expecting the stop based on the runs in the next lap or two, if not the next 5, based on if he sticks to the strategy game. And that's the key. He's the only one who's made the strategy bed, as Woodward is on the jacks.
Yeah, and Tyler Truex is not that far back from James Seawright. I mean, you can really see how new tires how much you gain from new tires. He's about 13 seconds back from Seawright right now. So Tyler Truex is catching up to him. So when Seawright pits, he's going to fall probably a lap down possibly, and definitely going to have to really utilize those those new tires to really get that time back. Oh, Seawright getting tight up into the wall. I think he's forced. He might be coming down now. No, he's going to stay out.
Got to give him credit. He is the only one attempting the strategy. Sometimes it pays off to be different. We'll have to see how this plays out with how rough it is. In fact, his competitors at this point are running on the apron trying to pass him. How frustrating, or rather how nerve-wracking can this be, in your opinion, knowing how things are in the modern cars, let alone in this, where you're trying to bomb for the public car. There he goes. Caution is triggered. We're under yellow.
Surprised that led to a caution. He did save it. But that definitely, I think he had some contact there with Clapper, I think it was. But definitely, you could just see the speed difference as well. When those guys were coming up on him, they were going 15, 20 mile an hour faster than him. I mean, it's a minefield, a bomb waiting to go off as we take a look back here.
Just lost it down the middle of the straightaway, just started to weave on him. And that's the thing with the Eagleswood Creations caution flag. This has happened a lot with this racetrack on the long run. If you move out of that main groove along the outside, even down the straightaway, like even this little bubble here, it can snap you around in any car.
Who was that was coming up on him? Really good heads-up driving. I mean, really got on the brakes and avoid hitting him. I'm trying to figure out who that is. Really good heads-up driving. I mean, he could have easily slammed right into Seawright. That caution kind of helped out Seawright in a lot of ways, though. Even though he was the kind of the cause for it, he's going to get to come down here and get a fresh set of tires. Everybody else is going to probably come down as well.
And this just about flips the field in terms of strategy. Just about everyone coming down except for a couple who just completed service a few laps ago. And indeed, amongst those staying out here, Lee Tomlinson, who was actually amongst those avoiding the contact, expect potential to come down. Foley, in particular, might be in one of the better spots here because of the fact he pit just a few moments ago.
I have a pretty sneaky, good suspicion that we're not going to see the last of the green flag stops. So we still have, I do believe, over 55 laps right now to go. And these guys, I mean, Seawright could barely make it to 42 laps on those tires. I suspect we're going to see more green flag stops if we stay green after this restart.
I mean, we can make it to the end on green. That's going to be the thing to consider if we end up seeing anybody risk the green flag pit stop. You know who this really helps in turn, though? Is more drivers cycle down to the pit lane, in fact, except for maybe Woodward. The matter of the fact is, this really helps those who stayed out for that extra tire set, because now just about everybody is now in a spot where they only got a couple. If you get more cautions, precautions, you caught it yourself. In fact, the producer, Austin Derbyshire, said it himself. He likes to save tires at Atlanta because he felt he's good here.
Yeah, for sure.
If it works out, they end up looking like the smartest drivers in the room. Downside, they have to pass 25 cars in 2 laps or something.
I'm interested to see. James Seawright must have been really worried about his damage. He spent over a minute in his box trying to get some damage repaired, and he fell all the way back to 18th as a result. He would have been up in the top 5.
I mean, we talked about how rough the cars seem to be handling as a result of that damage. It doesn't even look like it's comfortable catching up to the field at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that was quite the contact he had there with Justin Clapper as well. So, I mean, that could have added some more damage, and he probably just wanted to see if he can get that took care of. I mean, and also keep in mind the 69, we talked about watching Tyler Truex. He's up into second right now. He does have right side damage as well. So I would keep an eye on that 69. Of course, like you said, he has a lot of experience with this race car. But, of course, Reed Foley, he's also been very fast in that 15. Durasic, he's been really able to weather the storm when it comes to his damage. He's got, of course, a bent right side back spoiler, I think that might even be helping him because it seems like Jurassic's been quick on the longer runs.
It's getting itself situated here under caution still. Still having a long way to go, and one car is spinning out of the pits.
Oh, no.
Well, that was not the funnest moment. I believe that was Condon. Have to beat the pace car, right?
Yeah,
Well,
and he
first
actually
of all-
took a trip to the grandstand.
Well, first of all, it didn't beat the pace car, and second, it's a slippery access road.
Yeah, these cars just have so much horsepower, and you even just blip the throttle a little bit, it can send you sideways.
So how things now unfold. Foley, Truex, Jurassic, Cherry, Freeman, Boundy, McConey amongst the top 7. Diebold, McCrary, and Clapper with one of his best runs of the season, and now the top 10 for this upcoming restart to the TLC restart zone. How does Foley hold on? How does Truex look to play this? Already seen Cherry with the tech issue as the green flag waves back and away.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Foley handles this. He has a hornet's nest right there behind him. Of course, you see Freeman. He's been started all the way at the rear of the field, has worked his way all the way up into the top 5. Foley has secured the lead, though, but here comes a big run from Tyler Truex into turn 3.
Tyler Truex with the cross, Foley up to the middle line. Gonna avoid the wall, but Tyler Truex painting the inside line, just about clear. Tyler Truex back up to the race lead down the front stretch. Jurassic looking to peel off Foley from the wall.
Yeah, keep in mind, Reed Foley's on 10-lap old tires right now, with the rest of the field's pretty much on fresh tires. So I think he's going to be a little bit of a disadvantage. You can kind of see that right now, but he's running that higher line to keep Jurassic behind him.
Muscle's looking to try and do the same to the outside, what Jurassic's been doing. Up on the wall with Foley. Foley able to avoid significant contact from behind, though. Foley back outside the top 10 with a strategy call.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. Luckily, he was able to recover nicely. Hopefully, he doesn't have another trip into that fence. You see Matt Cherry trying to work on Sean Boundy right now, side by side for 3rd place.
And there indeed goes the magical spinning race car into the pit lane. Tyler Truex, though, amongst those still leading the way in the clean air. Boundy amongst those starting to make the moves. Boundy very quiet tonight, but there's a reason he's leading the points entering the evening. And now he has the chance to grow it to be even on race weeks counted with Truex, Ryan Truex.
So we have a caution flag on the speedway. I think it was Reed Foley.
Eagles Creations caution, and yes, it is Reed Foley. Oh, and a second car involved. Let's take a look what happened with Foley.
Oh.
That's TJ Lee. And out that spinning car on the apron was Al Aaron trying to avoid it all.
Yeah, what an accident there. Take another look back at this from the cockpit. Yeah. Oh, I think the 46 got loose in the straightaway. It's kind of interesting to see someone get loose right at that moment. It might have been laying on the brake a little bit, and it kind of caused the car to get imbalanced.
Another look once again. This will be a good towing sign. Yes, Lee indeed got loose out of the quad oval.
Yeah, maybe he had too much wheel into it. I don't know, but somehow the car unloaded and just started getting loose right down into Foley. Foley just nothing really he could have done there.
So Reed Foley like to stay on the old tires with significant damage now. And with under 50 to go in this race, we are inside the window for sure on gas. Already, the back half of the field's coming in for pit stops. The front half, not so much. And now, it becomes the question how this plays out if it stays green with half the field pitting, half the field not, 12 staying out here.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't a very long run. I mean, for most of these drivers that did stay out, they were out for about 8 laps. So I don't really blame them for staying out. Of course, they will have a little bit of a difference on their speed, I'd say. But I just don't think you waste those tires. I think they're going to still come into play. I don't think we're done with that caution flag yet.
That's absolutely a concern with the tire limits here. The counterpoint, though, at the same time, we've seen what happened when one car is on older tires. Imagine about 20 cars, rather 15 in this case, they're looking to pass 12 of those cars, or 12 Reed Foleys.
It definitely could be a problem. I mean, we've got to watch out for wheel spin as well. I think that's going to be probably an issue. We'll have to wait and see how that all works out for sure. It's been an interesting race, though. I'll tell you, I mean, for a first, I've never really called a race here with this car tomorrow. It's definitely been entertaining, to say the least.
Still looking to wind down the pace laps in the closing stages of tonight's action. It's been an intriguing one for those just tuning in. Lots of experience behind the wheel for Tyler Truex. Keep in mind, when it comes to the Truex family, one of the 3 brothers who have seen very quick speeds. Tyler Truex as well, running modifieds in the real world with this number 69. In fact, when thinking back, he's actually had a lot of significance here at Atlanta, not just at the pro level. But think about this from what happened in 2020, when things stepped aside because of the world situations with the pandemic. One of the drivers who took part in the Replacements 100, the first major event during that time, Tyler Truex. He was, in fact, one of the drivers who raced against drivers such as Dale Jr., Will Byron, Harrison Burden, Chase Briscoe, Alex Bowman, Tyler Overstreet, a longtime driver on the service, and from Joe Gibbs Racing now. You'll throw in Coleman Presley, Ben Rhodes, Garrett Smithley, Myatt Snyder, and Bubba Wallace. All were some of the competitors who raced at the time at this racetrack for that respective event.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting. I loved how when the pandemic hit, that we saw all of that kind of come to fruition. We had the chance to see iRacing really be put on the map, and it's so cool to see Tyler Truex actually be a part of that. So hopefully he'll be able to get the win here tonight, and it'll all come full circle. Of course, that would be pretty big for him as well, because I think this season he just has not had the season that I think he deserves. Of course, he did win 2 weeks ago at North Wilkesboro, but would be awesome to see him go back-to-back. And it really would, I think, give him a possible chance at throwing his hat into the ring for a championship for this Thunderclap Series.
Can't count out the former series champion indeed, and one of the winningest drivers in the early years of this series. For those curious, Tyler Truex looking for his 9th career victory, past Daniel Silvestri last time out in Wilkesboro for 2nd all-time in wins. The driver he needs to beat to become the 1st all-time, Ryan Truex, his brother.
Well, how about that? He's not here tonight.
A good chance to be able to close the gap down, depending on how things fare out. But coming to start lap 91, coming to the TLC restart zone, Truex and Jurassic. Boundy, along with Cherry, back underway.
Oh, big wheel spin for Freeman.
Oh, and that stacks up the inside line behind D-Board and company. Able to stay side by side, though. Remember, fresh tires about 14th or so on back on this restart.
Yeah, Clapper just had a big moment entering turn 1. Luckily, he was able to stay somewhat under control. That gives D-Board a little bit of an advantage. He's going to get a big run into 3.
Bounty looking to do the same, looking for it all, in fact, on the inside. Now to the inside, just about a Truex. Jurassic able to get the better power down to clear for 2nd. Here comes the outside line for Cherry.
I'll tell you, Jurassic, I think that damage really is helping him. But just the way that back spoiler is kind of lifted up a little bit is giving him a little bit of extra something. Side by side for the lead.
Jurassic is too loose, though. Down to the apron. Jurassic falls back to a battle for 3rd. Up to a race-high 2nd is Cherry, and he's looking for the lead.
Good recovery, though, from Jurassic. He went all the way down to the apron, came back up on the racetrack, and didn't lose that much speed. He only fell back to 4th. Of course, Cherry now up to the lead. Jurassic 3 wide with Boundy right now.
Still trying to battle it out, D-Bold. Now McConey looking to make a move as well. Some of those next level machines looking to charge ahead. Clapper gets boxed in the MPM car.
They are flying like the Blue Angels right now. These guys, what a fantastic show these guys are putting on for all the fans out there of the Thunderclap iRacing series.
Still lots of tough parts to focus on, though, with D-Bold playing the lines. Still a long way to go in the run. Keep in mind, a lot of the drivers who pit still not able to make too much forward progress of note with how things have played out in this race.
Yeah, that's very interesting to note that the guys that did pit haven't really made too many moves forward.
First time tonight, in fact, they haven't really made too much forward progress.
I think eventually they will start to move, though. I think that the guys that stayed out probably didn't have too worn of tires, but it is going to make a difference here in the next couple laps. Ooh, McConey touches the apron a little bit, loses some momentum out of turn 2. Oh, we see Boundy. Oh, no, that's the 63 of Clapper. Almost got into McConey there a little bit.
Looking on board with the Talladega Nights machine. Oh, and trouble! Clapper getting loose. Was that a bit of help from behind with Freeman?
I think it might have been. He saves it, though. Oh, J.D. Woodward almost lost. Oh, there it goes. Huge hit on the wall from Woodward. This is going to be a caution.
Eagles Wood Creations caution flag. Woodward hit from behind as he bounced off the wall. Dennis involved. Derek Cole paint scheme also sliding its way right in front of him. Back under yellow. And now the strategy rotation spins as someone managed to flip over with all of that.
What? Take a look back at this. I didn't see anybody flip over.
Oh, it wasn't Freeman. It was Vile who was coming up and quick inside.
Oh, so this is why Clapper went through that little trip through the grass. You see Vile coming back up onto the racetrack.
And then everything stacks up again. Woodward in the wall.
It's two separate incidents.
That caution nearly landed back into Clapper's lap with that, how things have played out for the pit crew man for the railroad. Still, let's take a look at Woodward.
Oh, and we heard the race control warning guys about this. If you get into that wall, do not try to steer yourself out of the wall. Stay up there, and he did exactly what he wasn't supposed to do. He steered down, and that is what caused that caution.
Was that Condon who was the one who flipped? I'm curious. As pit stops underway, Jurassic, Montgomery, and Lee, the only ones yet to come down in the cycle. He was the last to the scene, this car. I still don't know how you flip when you are a quarter of the track behind the caution, if that's indeed the case.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh, it is him.
Oh, that's interesting.
The wall said your night is done. You go upside down. As some may say, with the damage model from these cars, circles catch triangles. And put it politely, think of it as ring toss. You're throwing circles at something that has a point. Guess which part is the point in this case, and who is the circle?
Interesting decisions on pit road. Top three have decided to stay out. Jurassic's on 18-lap-old tires. Montgomery on 11. TJ Lee on 11 as well. So this is going to be interesting. Jurassic, this is quite a bold move.
Well, this is back to the strategy again. If you were amongst those on the tire sets, now this is where you have to start paying in mind. And this is, again, where it benefits Diebold and McConey amongst those. Because their advantage, they can take more gambles, or at least equalize to the vast majority. Now, you're to drivers taking that same risk, but now within the final 40 laps.
Yeah, now it actually is within, I'd say, a reasonable thing to think that you could make it on even tires to the end. Of course, Seawright was able to make it to 42, not without struggle, though.
Yeah, he has still not recovered since then after getting the damage repair. In fact, outside the top 20. Woodward amongst those getting the penalty. And remember, we talked about the cause of cautions. If you bounce off the wall, they will in turn give it to the driver who bounces up the wall and down the track.
Yeah, we definitely mentioned that. And Montgomery looks like he was given an EOL penalty as well. He stayed out on the 11-lap-old tires, is now falling outside the top 15.
Barney the flagman watching over the field here as we continue on with the action, coming up to 35 to go for the restart. Jurassic inside, Lee choosing the outside, Greg Vile, along with Garrett Amonsto staying out. Cherry and Truex first on the freshies or so in this one. As we get ready for the restart, we'd like to remind you that when it comes to employee benefits and energy management, Professional Business Solutions provides unparalleled solutions and savings. Family owned and operated since 1982, PBS's philosophy has always been to develop long-term relationships, not short-term sales. As an employer, you do what you do best, and we'll take care of the rest. Visit pbsnj.com for more info and let Professional Business Solutions put the green back into your bottom line. About to retake the green as we approach the TLC restart zone. It's been a wild night so far when it comes to the PBS Incorporated Throwback Race here with the COT machines in 2008 Atlanta. Amongst those still in the battle, Tyler Truex, the former eNASCAR driver from this era. Also amongst those battling, the Jimmy Johnson paint scheme that was in the midst of one of the best battles in COT history with Jeff Gordon. Tire spin for Lee, back out away.
Yeah, I'm surprised Lee was able to keep that underneath him. Still holding on to third, but for not long, as we see, of course, Matt Cherry in the 67 Jimmy Johnson scheme. He's going to be rocketing his way up to third. He's going to try to slide up in front of Lee. Matt Garrett, contact with Matt Garrett and Lee. This could be another caution here. TJ Lee ejected from the racetrack. Caution's back out.
TJ Lee slides back up towards traffic but avoids more contact. Eagleswood Creations caution once again. Cautions breed cautions as they start building dollhouses full of caution flags. And a big dodge for Woodward at the very back of the field.
Such a hard lick on the front end of the 46. That should probably end his race.
Back under caution. We'll take a break. Under 35 to go, you're watching Grid Vision for coverage of the Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to tonight's action from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Justin Prince, Brian Britt, Austin Derbyshire with you as we make our way to the final 20 to 30 laps here of tonight's action and Thunderclap action. Lots to discuss when it comes to the throwback race. Remember, the next time out when it comes to Thunderclap, though, just so happens to go to Bristol. And what do they say? Well, it's Bristol, baby. It's a short track race with the trucks up next, and in fact, 2 straight truck races as we make the final sprint to the postseason. 4 races to go until the forming 16 after tonight.
That's so exciting, Justin. Can't wait. I mean, I love Bristol. That is one of the tracks that is on my bucket list. I've, of course, been to Darlington several times. I haven't been to any other NASCAR race before, but the one that is on the top of my list is Bristol. So I think that was going to be exciting. Of course, these guys are rough and rowdy as it is, and Bristol's a rough and rowdy track.
And so far tonight, these drivers have been slipping, sliding, and getting a little bit of roughhousing in with the slipping and sliding and turn here at Atlanta. Jurassic, by the way, now the leader. Vile, Cherry amongst the top 3. Truex, Debo, Boundy, McConey, McQuarrie. The top 8. Freeman and Famosas now back in the top 10. And the strategy rotation is going to be very important to keep a track of throughout the evening with the pit stop times. Because depending on how things play out, drivers might now be, a lot of them in fact, are at risk of running out of sets. And you don't want to run out for the final restart here.
No, not at all. And I think that's why Jurassic has been staying out. Of course, he's on, I do believe, about 20-plus lap old tires right now. Of course, that last green flag run wasn't really a green flag run at all. We only went about a lap, maybe not even that, before we saw Matt Garrett get involved with another driver. I do believe Matt Garrett actually received an EOL penalty for his efforts there.
Garrett involved in the incident in that Dale Sr. throwback. Speaking of throwbacks, Greg Vile throwing back to Kevin Harvick on the outside line. Looking to try and fire off with that about early 2010s era Kevin Harvick machine with RCR. TLC restart zone, green flag is back out.
Not a great start from Jurassic. It seemed like he was struggling to get going, and Matt Cherry already going to take him 3 wide into 1. Oh, there goes some contact. Jurassic into 26 of Vile, bouncing off of each other.
Vile not going to be too happy. Pushed to the back of the grouping at the end of the top 5. Jurassic now trapped to the top side. 3 wide with Tyler Truex and Roger Diebold. And Cherry, as a result, able to just run away up at the point.
Yeah, definitely. That was very opportune for the 67. Tyler Truex, though, up now to 2nd place. I am pretty certain he is going to focus his efforts on that 67. He wants to go back-to-back here. Diebold, though, also one to keep an eye on. He, of course, probably has another set left of tires. Of course, Bounty sit there in 4th. Jurassic is really starting to feel the effects of those old tires. Now McQuarrie is, I think, poised to enter the top 5 here.
Yeah, McQuarrie has been floating around the top 10 for parts of the night. Ran his way up towards the top 5 earlier as well. He has, by choice, became the only driver in the field, though, or is the only driver not with throwback tonight. Instead, electing to run his very normal paint scheme. It sticks out amongst the field of throwbacks, though.
He's throwing back to himself.
Kyle Busch did that this year. You can't claim that. Ryan Truex claimed he was going to do that at Darlington. He ended up having instead a throwback to 2005 Joe Gibbs Racing.
I gotta give all these guys out here credit, though. I mean, in order to come out here and tackle this sort of a challenge, and ladies and gentlemen, I know what we show on our screens doesn't look like much of a challenge, but these guys are having to really wheel these machines. These cars do not want to behave.
Oh, I think it looks like a challenge. You can tell with how these cars have been hanging out some of the rear ends tonight. Compare that to Cherry. Here's a critical thing when it comes to being fast. So many drivers emphasize on iRacing, especially when it comes to the older tire model in the day of this car, as well as the Gen 6. Minimize the rotation with the wheel, save the tires, it ends up going fast, you minimize the potential slide. Cherry doing the best out of anybody outside of maybe Truex tonight. in that regard. A lot of others putting in double the wheel input.
Yeah, I definitely love what I'm seeing from Cherry there from that cockpit camera. But you can tell, just look at the exits of these cars. You can see they're having to counter steer. They're having to turn right, and a lot of times you only see that in dirt racing. But these guys are having to do it here tonight.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you don't do the counter steer, you potentially fall into the drift or the slide. You already see that with Montgomery, already another 10-15 degrees more in the wheel, trying to run the bottom of the racetrack, yes, but already struggling on the exit because of the extra rotation.
And having to do that is wearing his tires out more.
Exactly. Already near 30 degrees, trying to turn it on the top side, losing a spot in factory fully.
Yeah, you really cannot overturn there. We do see Diebold starting to pressure Tyler Truex, though, for that second spot. Diebold trying to work that bottom. He even touches a little bit of the apron to get that car to rotate better.
Trying to get the pull. Trying to give a little space as well at the same time, it appears. A lane and a half up compared to where he is in position to top of Truex. Playing the lanes, though, is Cherry. Still feeding dirty air to Ryan Truex before the entry lines, at least.
Sean Bounty, though, starting to work his way forward. I think he looks like he's trying to maybe run the line. He's running both lines, really. Oh, look at that. Diebold pulling a really great slide job on Tyler Truex. Truex is going to try to maybe cross him over, not quite able to get there.
Diebold with the parking of the bus. Now trying to find a way to ride his way up to Cherry. Looking back still at some of the other groupings. McQuarrie trying to fight with Freeman. McConey already up to the top 5 again. Trying to follow suit.
Yeah, McConey's had a really good day today. He's been running, he's had a little bit of some different strategies, but he's up in 5th now, and this is just where you want to be as we're coming up very, very soon to 20 laps to go. So, I mean, this is where I'd want to be here towards the end, but I still think that we possibly could end up having another caution. But then again, we have lightened up the field quite a bit. At the moment, there are, I do believe, 19 drivers on the lead lap. We started out, I do believe, with almost 30 drivers in this race.
Yeah, more than 30, in fact, about 32 tonight. For reference, looking back to Tomlinson, this is the last car on the lead lap currently. Remember, he's been involved in a few different incidents, not of his own cause. They've just fallen in his lap, to say the very least. Nick Tomlinson in the 03 for GVM Motorsports, looking to try and hold on. Speaking of trying to hold on, Cherry under attack. Here comes Diebold inside.
And Diebold's been making a lot of speed on that bottom line. And you even talked about it on the longer runs. That bottom line seems to be the place to be, but it looks like Cherry gets a better run outside of 2 on the backstretch.
38 trying to line things back up. Cherry electing to play the top. It's going to not be easy whatsoever. We've seen how difficult it was for Diebold to pass by Truex. It took the slider and the parking the bus out of turn 2. How does Diebold now play this with under 20 to go?
I think he should just be patient right now. I think if I was him, I would just try to follow in the tire tracks of Cherry and just wait until the last minute to make something happen. Because you don't want to open yourself up to Tyler Truex here. Because Truex is looking for any sort of mistake. And if he tries to pass Cherry, then that could be exactly the opportunity that the 69 needs to get back up to the lead.
2 drivers up at the point, mind you.
Austin's
Looking
out.
Caution flag is out. Eaglewood's Creations caution. And, oh no, it's Justin Clapper yet again.
I think this might have been a single car. We'll have to wait and we'll have to look back.
He was in the top 10 right up to that point.
I think that was Sherrick. Oh, huge lick there. Someone hit him after the fact there. I think that might have been Montgomery.
Appears it was, yeah.
That was a hard hit. I don't think that car is going to be the same after that. As we take a look back, I think that was Sherrick underneath. Kind of got a little tight up into the 63. Boom! That was actually a netcode hit there from Montgomery. They didn't even touch.
I think that was actually Jurassic, but either way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Caution brings out more pit stops at a critical time. Only 3 do not peel in. Tyler Truex amongst them. Roger Diebold, the first of those coming in for the tire change after the fight for the battle for the race lead with Cherry.
That is quite interesting. Seeing Tyler Truex and Sean Bounty staying out. I do believe Matt Garrett as well, possibly here. No, I think Garrett did end up pitting.
He is out there, in fact.
Oh, yeah.
But as mentioned, Diebold beating Cherry, McConey, Freeman, Cherick, now the top 8 for now. And a big pit stop indeed for the 38 machine. Now it's the question, how does Cherry play it out? After all, you have 2 drivers who haven't won in the case of Diebold, about almost a year. In the case of Cherry, almost 2 years.
Wow. Cherry's came really close as well as Diebold. They've come really close since we've been calling them with Group Vision. I'm wondering why Tyler Truex and Sean Bounty and Matt Garrett decided to stay out. I think it might be because they have to. I don't think they have tires left.
That's a massive concern now. And now it's about survival, potentially for some. Getting set for the restart in the next few laps or so. Tyler Truex has led much of the way in this third stage. Bounty has been amongst those staying in the top 5 much of this stage.
Maybe not for long, though, just considering, I mean, they are on much older tires than the rest of the field, and if they don't have tires left, this could be a precarious situation for sure. I think the majority of this field might even be almost everybody out there doesn't have a set left. I think this is definitely, like you mentioned, survival here. I think if we have another caution from here, there's probably going to be most of the majority of the field staying out.
So many chances to see a first-time winner this season in general. Keep in mind, last season, Greg McConey went to victory lane 3 times. He's now in the conversation, 2 keep in mind, up to 6. He's been slowly coming through the field. The strategy put him behind a little bit, made the track position up each time, and he's got a clean race car. Trying to throw back to Greg Biffle, the Biff.
Yeah, you love to see that. Greg Biffle, definitely one of the very, very talented race car drivers. And I think a couple years back, he actually drove a truck race and actually was able to win it. So he still got it.
He won at Texas Motor Speedway, in fact, driving one of Kyle Busch's trucks back then.
Yeah.
Ran as recently as last year, in fact, in the 44 car. Getting ready for the restart, though. The top 3 are on old rubber. Fresh tires, 4th on back. 14 laps to decide it from Atlanta. Who's your pick, Brian?
I've got to go with Diebold. I think he's been looking really, really strong today. I mean, he was able to pass Tyler Truex. Of course, he looks like he has a lot of willpower as well, the will to do it. Just considering that move he pulled on Truex, you know, like you said, parking the bus in front of him. I mean, I think he's willing to do whatever it takes to get this victory.
See how this plays out. On board, this is Roger Diebold, outside row 2. He's the first on fresh tires to the TLC restart zone. Green flag waits up at the stand, back underway with 14 laps to go. Diebold already going, in trouble inside.
Matt Garrett just did not get going, had a huge hit to his rear end. Caution flag is back out.
Another Eagleswood Creations caution flag. And a lot of drivers falling down the pylon. Burleson, several others. You've seen it break out, Brian. That inside line did not go. And already a lot of drivers with blown motors.
Yeah, Matt Garrett just did not get going. As you'll see right here, Matt Cherry was right behind him. Got into his rear end, unsettled the race car right in front of Greg McConey. Sherrick, look at that, almost dodged through it, still got involved though. Oh man, that is just, you hate to see wrecks like that on the restart. Look at that. Look at the damage on McConey. He is crab walking. That car's done.
Let's take a look. This is from the outside line. Greg McConey. Fell in his lap. Oh, it really fell into his lap.
He did a rollover right there.
Well, that's going to explain why the suspension is skewed out. If you ride the wall with the chassis, you end up becoming a turtle car.
Yeah, that is just unfortunate there for him. I mean, that is pretty much going to end his day. As we take another look back here, as you see just Garrett spun the tire, just not able to get going, and unfortunately the top line paid the price.
In theory, both lines did. But now, looking at a restart with under 10 to go, Diebold now at the inside line, row 2 of note, though. And now, with a clean race car compared to the damage possibly for Cherry, he could be in the driver's seat for this race win.
Yeah, I don't think Cherry got too much out of that. I mean, he did get into the rear end of Garrett in that, but it wasn't a hard hit. So I think he'll be okay, but I'm surprised that Diebold didn't get second away from Bounty, because when that caution came out, they were side by side. But it's just based on the timing lines, and unfortunately the caution did not come out at the right time for Diebold, but it could even benefit him. We'll have to wait and see.
Aaron, by the way, is the lucky dog you see driving around the racetrack. And we're basically down to 13 clean cars, or clean-ish cars. That's why you see so many drivers down that pit lane. You talked about the numbers dwindling. Well, the number just lit itself on fire and dwindled itself down quickly. How about now 12? Pardon me, 13 Woodward going in and out of the pit.
Yeah, keep in mind, Tyler Truex and Sean Bounty have still not gone down pit road. So I think this has pretty much cemented the fact they don't have tires left.
Well, their bed's made. If they pit, they're not winning this race. You're not making up through the pack in about less than 10 laps unless something big happens.
I think they're actually hoping that they keep getting cautions to kind of just extend it a little bit further for them. I mean, because it's only a matter of time before Diebold gets up here and starts trying to take that lead from him.
So in turn, knowing how difficult it's been in the TLC restart zone today with the tire spin, what do you think Truex is going to play, or how is going to play this? Because we've already seen that second row in particular inside seems to be the stack-up point. He's not going to have that stack-up point potentially. How do you play this to be able to at least get a buffer point for the restart box?
Yeah, I have no clue what he can do here. I mean, he's just going to have to pray and hopefully he can fire off well. He's going to have to hope that Diebold spins his tires instead of him. But, of course, Tyler Truex has a lot more probability of him spinning his tires himself. Of course, Matt Garrett was on about the same amount of laps, I'd say, on his equipment that Truex is at the moment. So I don't know what you could do. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I think Tyler Truex is probably just, like I said, hoping. He's hoping and praying right now.
Coming up to the restart. Tyler Truex inside, outside. Sean Bounty, Diebold, Cherry, Freeman, Foley, McCrary, Lee amongst the top 8. Burleson and Famosa the top 10. Amongst those trying to make their way to the back of the grouping, Jurassic Tomlinson still surviving out there. Woodward 13th. Garrett involved in the incident back around 14th. Clapper, Vile, everyone else, including Montgomery and Cherrick, your laps down or significantly down on the speed. 9 laps decided here.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. I mean, I know if anybody can not fold to the pressure, it's going to be Tyler Truex. Oh, we got a delayed green here, so we're going to be going around one more time.
I believe half the field had yet to reach the pace car. Keep in mind, Montgomery and Cherrick in particular, though, getting a big chance here because they might have been a 3/4 of a track deficit behind everybody else. This is why there was delayed green. These cars still trying to catch up to the pack and couldn't get there before the trigger, including these two now, who get a big chance to catch up to the pack.
I'll tell you, I hope that they took a picture of that of Noah Rainwater's car before this race, because it does not look anything like it did before or now. Because I mean, he won the best paint scheme. I don't think it's the best paint scheme anymore.
Well, they did vote on it with no damage. And before the race, it was voted amongst the fellow competitors for tonight, in fact. Going the full throwback scheme with original sponsors in particular, and that's a critical part. Trying to have that creativity, but also having it your own. For example, I put this politely, picking up a paint scheme on trading paints does not count.
Yeah, I think we just gotta, like as Mike Joy would say, the keyboard warriors are going mad right now.
Coming up to 8 laps to go now. Inside line Truex, outside line Bounty. To the TLC restart zone. Fresh tires, second row on back. Who will survive for 8 more laps? Green flag is out, back on her way. And this time it's the outside line. It's Bounty on the stack up.
Good restart there for Tyler Truex, but here comes Diebold. He's already gotten by Bounty. Bounty struggled really badly into 1 and 2 there. Matt Cherry able to somehow get by him.
Cherry looking to line it up, trying to fight with Diebold. Diebold looking to try and get inside. Tyler Truex choosing the outside. Trying to ride the wall. Diebold looking for the slider through 3.
There goes Tyler Truex into the outside wall, exacerbating that outside right side damage.
Roger Diebold up to the race lead. He and Cherry now look to battle it out. Bounty on all tires dropping to 3rd. Down to 7 laps to go.
This is going to be a duel. Both of these drivers have fairly similar laps on their tires. Diebold, though, can he hold off? I know Matt Cherry, I think you said he has not been to victory lane in 2 years. How much does he want this?
Keep in mind, it's also been almost a year when it comes to Diebold. He's been close several times this season. Here comes Cherry on the crossover inside.
Yeah, and don't forget about Freeman as well. Back there now in 3rd in the 5 machine. As long as these guys stay side by side, I think Freeman might end up coming and joining this little party. Oh, Cherry loose off the exit of 2.
Cherry saves it. Able to keep it off his competitor. Coming up 5 laps to go. Diebold now up by 3 car lengths.
Cherry still has time, though. As long as he has a sniff of that draft, he could possibly work his way back up.
Oh, Diebold was quicker into the corner. Here comes the better run for Cherry out of the exit.
Yeah, and it seems like, I don't know what it is about clean air. It does not seem like it actually helps these guys. You can see, yeah, Diebold sends it in a little bit further into the corner, but then loses the momentum on the exit.
4 laps to go. About 4 miles to work with plus.
Still not over. Anything could still happen. We're seeing Sean Bounty fall back to now 7th. Scott Formosa and Foley have gotten by him. And still Bounty losing positions. J.D. Woodward just got in front of him.
So they're back in 7th already. The driver staying out there outside the top 7 and not in range to battle for the win. Freeman, the only other driver to break away before things bundled up, getting around the traffic. Freeman in the popcorn seat, 3 to go.
Matt Cherry last time by was almost a 10th faster than Diebold. He is catching him. This is not over. If Diebold had a breath of relief, I think he's not having it anymore. His heart rate is probably through the roof as he wants to secure this win. But Matt Cherry determined. Will he throw a bumper?
Cherry's got the run. 3 miles to go from Atlanta. 2 laps to go.
And if we get to the white flag, the next flag will end it. They'll race it out. Here comes Cherry. Going to run up to the top. He should get a better launch off of turn 2. But no, Diebold actually gets a significant launch off of turn 2. Able to maintain a good bit of momentum.
Just like Johnson versus Gordon, 2011. Diebold now tries to defend the high line. Coming up to the white flag, this time by Cherry up to the quarter panel. as he passed by Barney. Final time around.
This is going to be a close race right here. Cherry trying to slide. He's going to get tight.
Diebold on the pinch. Cherry stays alongside. Down the backstretch for one final time.
Slow car on the apron there. I do believe that's the 05 of Noah Rainwater. Matt Cherry, though, able to throw it in on Debo, but will he get tight on the exit? I think Matt Cherry, 2-year drought, will win here in Atlanta.
Matt Cherry, with his first win in almost 2 years, gets the PBS Incorporated Throwback Race for his trophy case. Wow, indeed. Cherry's best race of the season, and he holds off Diebold after making the move down the back.
What a fantastic move for Matt Cherry. What a heartbreaker for Diebold. Was in the prime position. Wow, just fantastic job there for the 67. I have a feeling that he's going to be doing a well-deserved burnout here, a smoke show here for the audience.
Matt Cherry picking up the win in his 57th career start. His third career victory in Thunderclap competition. The last time he went to victory lane, August the 11th, 2021, Nashville Fairgrounds Xfinity Series car. Cherry burns it on down. Tonight's winning moment brought to you by PBS Incorporated. When it comes to employee benefits and energy management, Professional Business Solutions provides unparalleled solutions and savings. Family owned and operated since 1982, PBS's philosophy has always been to develop long-term relationships, not short-term sales. Visit pbsnj.com for more info. Let Professional Business Solutions put the green back into your bottom line. Let's take a look at the unofficial race results as Cherry breaks a near 2-year winless drought to hold off Roger Diebold for the checkered flag in the throwback race. Look who finishes third, though, in the midst of all that. Still able to hold on to that run to the checkered flag is Freeman. McCrary and Foley, the top 5. Specs 6th spot tonight. Once those looking charged through the pack, including Montgomery and Burley sit around there as well. Of note, Boundy in 9th on the old tires, holding onto a top 10.
Yeah, of course, Tyler Truex did as well. Got that 10th place, of course, Jurassic in 11th, Garrett 12th, Montgomery 13th, Sherrick in 14th, Clapper in 15th, Lee in 16th, Vial 17th, Tomlinson in 18th, Aaron 19th, and Schumann rounds out the top 20.
Munsters with some significant problems towards the end of the race with some of the incidents. Greg McConey, who was up towards the front much of the day. Condon, he ended up playing a little ring toss with the wall. The wall said, okay, it's time to flip upside down as a result. Leahy amongst those who had earlier troubles. Rainwater ended up going upside down at one point. Actually was slow on the apron we've seen at the final stages. Several others towards the back, though. Multiple laps down, near double, in fact triple digits laps down in this race tonight. 32 drivers of note took the green flag, I should say. What was an eventful night here for Thunderclap action, Brian.
Yeah, it was definitely a fantastic race. I'm sure Matt Cherry wishes that we were in the car tomorrow more often, because he definitely showed that he had the, I'd say, driver skill in order to be able to handle this race car. I mean, we didn't really know what we were going to see here tonight, and it definitely did not disappoint. It was so much fun to take we literally went back in time. I mean, with a car that was from this period of this scan and a track that was from the 2008 period. So, I mean, I hope we do this more often.
Let's start in reverse here tonight. John Freeman able to come up inside the top 3 this evening. Quietly snuck his way up to the pack. The Newport News, Virginia hometown driver able to come away with the top 3. John, how difficult was it to charge through this pack tonight? Because it seemed you were quiet much of the evening, and then, boom, you're in the top 5.
Yeah, man, it was very difficult out there. I unfortunately made a mistake in qualifying, which caused me to have to start in dead last, tail of the field. Kind of rode in the back the first 15 laps there. I grazed the wall once or twice just trying to get a rhythm and a feel. second stage, I actually didn't take tires at the end of the first stage to save a set for later in the race. Second stage, kind of slowly moved my way forward. I think I got to P19 or so from P27. And then after that, we had the long green flag run for stage 3. I got on the even tires, and on that run, I was able to work my way from like the mid-20s up to P6 when that caution came out. I had actually ran up there and got next to my buddy JWoww, who had a fast car tonight, and got a caution at the right time right there. We got back on sequence. We had a couple older lap tires than JWoww. And then in stage 3, I knew I had the top 10, top 5 pace. I knew I probably didn't have winning pace. So I kind of just wanted to keep the car clean, keep myself in it, because I know how treacherous this track is. I mean, you can't even go full throttle on the straightaways. So I had to keep the car up under me. Had a few incidents there, man, where I about spun it and wrecked it, including an amazing save, if I might say so myself, when Sherritt got into me on the back when a caution came out. I don't know if y'all saw that, and I was about 90 degrees sideways. But yeah, man, good recovery. We're there at the end, and we're able to bring home another podium. I think this is like my third in 4 or 5 weeks, so we're getting some momentum. We're keeping ourselves in the top 5 in points and just doing what we need to do to be there. And I can't be prouder of how I've been doing, to be honest. I didn't expect this.
That's your 4th third-place finish of the season. In fact, back-to-back third-place finishes on the trot when you combine North Wilkesboro. In terms of what you need to focus on, what's it going to take to be able to get over that edge, because you've been in the conversation for wins, especially at the short tracks. What do you feel you need to adjust or adapt, or do you plan to adapt, rather, when it comes to trying to get yourself past the third to get to victory lane?
Yeah, man, I think it's just avoiding mistakes and avoiding other people's mistakes and being there at the end like I did tonight. I didn't have the speed tonight, but there's a few tracks where I felt I had winning pace and I just took myself out of the race. I could say Richmond, where I had a really good car. North Wilkesboro, I think Tyler just had a better strategy than me. Me staying out to the end of the second stage and have to work back through that traffic and gaining some damage did not help my causes there. I just really think it's avoiding mistakes and maybe a little bit better on the strategy calls, putting myself in the right positions late. I do feel like I have the speed to win some of these tracks. I just got to do a better job.
So indeed, with that being said, overall, how would you describe the feel of the car in turn with what you felt tonight, and in turn, how would you carry that what you've learned from tonight to the other cars, knowing how this car feels with the high horsepower, low downforce compared to the modern day stock car?
Well, to be honest, with all this horsepower, I feel like the car is just a lot looser. I think it might actually help translate into, it might make it easier on you to drive than like the next gen, for instance, with less power. If you can handle one of these, you could most definitely handle a next gen car, a truck, or Xfinity car where you have slightly less power and more downforce. I just really think that having that experience in this car will really just translate. And it was a handful. I'm sure y'all saw it in the booth. It was a struggle for everyone out there. You were holding on. That was a workout.
Lots of drivers had some squiggles throughout the night. Indeed, you have to be McLovin, the top 3 overall. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yes, sir. Obviously, D&K Management for being on my car on my normal weeks. Not quite this week with the throwback on the COT, but dnkmanagement.net if you need any rental needs. Mina Peach, and like I said, Windsor, as you know. Windsor, Ontario, if you want to go to their gift shop, they have a ton of cool picture frames, cups, stuff like that you can look into. Just a ton of cool stuff to check out. And also, my teammates, Matt Montgomery, Jordan, Thomas Kohick, Foley, and just everyone, man, Glenn Grimm. And I appreciate y'all once again for putting on a great broadcast. Y'all do a phenomenal job, and I look forward to watching the race back every week.
Congratulations on the top 3 once again, John.
Thank you.
That's John Freeman coming away 3rd spot tonight. What was an eventful one. 2nd spot, though, in the battle for the win, it came down to 2 drivers, Roger Diebold, Matt Cherry. Diebold comes up just short. He's with Brian.
Roger, definitely fantastic effort here tonight. I'm sure that you wish it had went differently. You were in prime position to get the victory, but Matt Cherry really pulled a phenomenal move on you. What could you have done differently, Roger?
Hey, I don't know, man. He pulled a fast one on me. No, me and him, we race a lot together, and I guess he's just got me figured out. He figured I was going to overdrive it, which I knew I didn't have a whole lot of right front left at that point. from trying to get there, and I knew it was a matter of time. I think we were both just trying to stay off of each other and try to keep it close, and knew one of us was going to win, and we weren't going to wreck each other to do it. So hats off to him. Love battling him like that. This thing was fun, man. I felt like I was driving Ricky Craven's Darlington car there for the last 5 laps. I think it's sideways all over the place.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it was quite difficult. I mean, what was that transition like from, of course, the next-gen Xfinity to truck? I mean, this does not seem like it's anything like any of those cars.
Yeah, it's this thing's its own animal. It's got a ton of horsepower, so you really can't give it full throttle down the straightaways without it trying to step out left and right on you. I don't know what it was, but particularly tonight, I felt like it was really tight through the corner, but then just loose up, got into this thing. But it's a ton different. I think the trucks are just super air dependent, and everybody just kind of falls in line. And the next gens, you can't step out at all, otherwise you're wrecked. And Xfinity's kind of similar-ish, but just way less horsepower. But these things are fun, man. I love driving these things.
Definitely. We loved watching it for sure, too. I mean, it seemed like you guys had quite a handful, quite a challenge. What was the tire wear like? It looked like that was pretty much the worst thing that you guys had to deal with tonight.
Yeah, the fuel was pretty long. I think we can make it like 50 laps on a tank, but definitely I tried to save a set there at the beginning, which, I mean, ended up working out for me in the end, but I found out as soon as we took the green for the second stage that probably should have put 4 on it. The fall off was really, really bad. I know the first, that green flag run that we had in the third stage, I know my tires were pretty much shot. I mean, we're looking at 4 seconds of fall off, 3-4 seconds of fall off. So the tires were pretty big. I think the biggest thing was trying to save them and keep the weight off the right front and have something there on the long run, which I think net gain wise, we did a really good job of all night, moved forward all night, and man, just came up 1 spot short.
Yeah, and I think that was a little bit of a stroke of genius. You might have said that, hey, I should have took 4 tires on that call you made earlier after stage 1. But I think that's what allowed you to get up here to second like you did. I mean, because you and Greg McConey kind of did the same thing, and it really worked out for you guys. I mean, you saw Tyler Truex, Sean Bounty, they didn't have any tires left, and you still did. So I think that was a really big call for you for sure. Great job to you, Roger. Of course, came up 1 spot short. I know Matt Cherry, it's been about 2 years since he's gotten a victory, and from what I've heard, it's about 1 year since you've gotten one. So I'm sure you're itching to get back to victory lane. How do you feel about Bristol and the truck? Do you think that's going to be your chance?
Yeah, I think we got a really good shot there. That's a track that I love in any vehicle. So I think we got a really good chance there. We're gonna turn some practice laps and figure out like longevity, what the tires are gonna do, and what the fuel is gonna look like, and we'll go get them.
Definitely. We wish you the best of luck. Always love to root for you in that 38 machine, Mr. Roger D. Bold. Who can we give a shout out to after that second place finish?
I give a shout out to all my family back home in California that watch this thing every week, and friends out here that stay up late to watch. Give a shout out especially to the what they call the pool jerks back home, guys that just share the same job as me cleaning pools. I know they watch this thing and they've been itching for a shout out, and I told them I'd try to put it on the podium this week, so I'd give them a shout out. So there you go, guys, got it done. Man, I'm wore out, man. I was tired.
I bet after having to wheel that race car. Well, thanks for your time, Roger, and we'll see you next week at Bristol.
Yeah, guys, appreciate you.
Sean Bounty in second spot. Matt Cherry, though, picking up the victory, breaking in your 2-year winless drought. Matt, talk about the setup in the battle. You versus D-Bold. D-Bold said he felt you had him figured out. How would you describe the moves and trying to figure out how to break through the winless streak?
Well, the car handled really well tonight. I was really surprised. I wish we could run this car more often, but Yeah, I knew Roger. I knew Roger was going to overdrive the corner, so I was just trying to be easy, and I ran 3 or 4 laps there on the top because I didn't want him to know what was on the bottom. And on the final lap, I stuck it on the bottom, and we were able to pull it off.
So you played a little mind games with the lines there, if I understood that right.
Yeah, I know he's my teammate and all, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
How difficult has it been trying to find a way to win for the first time since that Nashville race back in 2021? How difficult has it been to try and finally break through like this at a track like this?
I mean, it's good, I know I can do it. It's just I ain't really had luck on my side here lately. I mean, but hopefully after this, we can turn things around.
So, I would consider this part of the turning things around part, but Bristol is the next race you have to turn the car around to and pick up a truck instead. Your opinions on Bristol as we look to see who survives the last great Coliseum?
And me and Bristol, we don't get along very well. I can't manage to save my tires there to save my life. I mean, I've ran 50 to 100 races there probably, and I just can't do it. But you put me on dirt there, I mean, I can make things happen.
Would like to shout out for your first win in almost 2 years, and also your first time, in fact, believe in the top 3. Yes, indeed. Your best run before today was 4th.
Yeah, I think that was Auto Club earlier this year. But yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Ryan Dingler over at RD Designs. He painted the throwback car and put everything together. I've ran this car twice now, and I've won both times in it. Exact same scheme too. So I mean, maybe I should run this car more often.
Maybe you should. Congratulations, though, on the victory tonight, Matt.
Alrighty, I appreciate it, guys.
That's Matt Cherry picking up the win tonight in the PBS Incorporated Throwback Race. I'd like to thank the entire top 3 for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here from Atlanta. Brian, in turn, your final thoughts on what was an eventful night, a first-time winner of the season, and first-time winner in 2 years.
I mean, just awesome to see him get that victory, and love to hear him say pretty much what I thought. It was like he wants these cars tomorrow, race cars, more often. I mean, I think they put on an excellent show, and they really require these guys to drive them. I mean, a lot of times when you see in the next gen in the truck, the Xfinity, you definitely have to drive that race car, but a lot of times you see to where they're a lot easier to drive, I think, just because of the more downforce. And but I think this car, you have to have a lot of skill. You have to be a true wheelman in order to win. And I think Matt really exemplified that. He was a wheelman here tonight and is very deserving of the victory, that's for sure.
On that note, it's time to say goodbye for tonight's action. The next time out, as mentioned, Bristol Motor Speedway. Be sure to check in next week as we start off the month of June and make the final sprint to the forming 16. But for my co-announcer tonight, Brian Britt, for our producer tonight, Austin Darbyshire, I'd like to thank you for tuning in for tonight's coverage of the Thunderclap iRacing Series, presented by TLC Incorporated for the PBS Incorporated Throwback Race. I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Congratulations to Matt Cherry, your winner from Atlanta.